We just got to figure out a good way to start this.
Yeah, I know.
Like a good little intro.
I know, right? Just do a little funny little intro.
Yeah.
Maybe we can make one up. The A B C D things.
Oh yeah.
Or you have something funny.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, cool.
Well, yeah. We'll get started here.
Cool.
Um.
It's a pretty shitty day out today.
Yeah, it is. It's actually for overcast. It's starting to get warm.
Yeah, it's not bad. It might have trapped a little bit of heat down in here, but it definitely wasn't like the past couple days where it was super warm.
Oh yeah, it's been like 80, 85.
Yeah.
Fucking great beach weather.
Dude.
Beach has been fucking popping off. Which
So
was
many
nice.
dudes. It's awesome.
Yeah. Dudes walking around Speedos down to the beach.
Hot.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, and now it's overcast after yesterday's fucking beautiful weather.
It just seems to fuck with us a lot down here. Yeah, I think it's that the past couple of years, it's been weird. The weather's just, you get a couple 80, 90 degree days, with good amount of humidity, and then all of a sudden the next fucking 2 weeks it's overcast and cold.
Yeah. It was a good little taste for me. I mean, I haven't been in PB for the summertime yet.
That's true.
And I just saw people coming out of the woodworks, flocking down the beach, their beach bags, flip-flops, little shorts and bikinis and stuff.
Well, it's great that we live so close to the beach because we don't have to pay for parking and get in our cars and drive down there. We can just walk or...
Oh, yeah.
People that are 5-10 minutes, live 5-10 minutes away, they have to drive, find parking.
Yeah.
It's a bitch, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. We just filled a little cooler of beer. We walked down the street to the 7-Eleven.
Oh, yeah.
Picked up a couple beers and a bag of ice and filled up a little cooler and just walked right down.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
It's fucking sweet. And the cool thing is like Mission Bay's right here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you haven't hung out in Mission Bay yet, have you?
No, I mean, I've walked through it a couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, before I even moved to Pacific Beach, I was hanging out with this chick right around the corner from us.
That's right.
And, I mean, the first time we, hung out or went on a first date or whatever.
Yeah.
I met at her house, and she was
She
3
lives
blocks.
right next there, right?
Yeah, she lives right on the other side of this road here.
Thomas, that's what you were saying, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we met at her house and walked on 3-4 blocks right over to Mission Bay, and we walked along Mission Bay, kind of towards Mission Beach.
Yeah.
But we cut through right before Mission Beach and then walked up the boardwalk up to Water Bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then we walked around, just cruised around. There was a little farm market there. We hung out there and, just really just walked around and got to know each other.
Yeah.
So
it was one of the first times you hung out with her?
Yeah, well, the first time I hung out with her here in San Diego.
That's right.
Because we met in Cape Cod, which was actually a funny story on how we met.
That's right.
So my cousin and her were friends.
Okay.
And, I used to always hang out with my cousin and her friend group. And there were different parts. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and there were different parts of the friend group. Just other little groups that would hang out. And then every now and again, we'd meet up. And everyone knew each other, but everyone kind of had their own little, core group of friends that they liked to hang out with.
Right.
But we'd always mix other people in. So we were hanging out with this one girl, Anna.
Mm-hmm.
And she was going to go on a Tinder date. And I happened to be at the house that, my cousin's house when I was staying there. I was living here at the time.
Oh,
and I had gone back to visit. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, so funny thing is, me and that girl around the corner here, we moved to San Diego the same month. Had never met each other before. Was not planned or anything. We had moved here the same month. And it just so happened, it was the first time I got off the boat. And she had also gone home to visit Cape Cod. So we happened to be in Cape Cod at the same time and ended up going to the same party pretty much.
What are the odds,
I mean,
man?
yeah, that's how we met. And my cousin introduced us like, oh, yeah, this is my friend Orla, who, she just moved to San Diego, actually.
Okay.
And it was her last day on Cape Cod, and it was my first day on Cape Cod. So we met then. We hung out, and, we hit it off pretty good right at the beginning. So we hung out, and we were like, oh, yeah, let's hang out in San Diego sometime. But, obviously I have a really busy work schedule, and she's a nurse, so she also has a really busy work schedule, especially working nights.
Right.
Kind of messes you up your whole sleep schedule and your plans for the day pretty much.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. So we planned on hanging out, and it never really worked out. And I don't know, probably like a couple months later, same thing. I went back to Cape Cod because I had some time off.
Yeah.
And my first day there was her last day there.
Are you serious?
And we ended up meeting at the same bar.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that was kind of a little unplanned. So we met again. I was like, all right, now we really gotta try to hang out more.
That's crazy.
And yeah, so the first time we actually hung out in San Diego was down here in Pacific Beach.
Okay.
At her place. And yeah, we walked around Mission Bay and stuff, and then up the whole boardwalk to Water Bar and just cruised around Pacific Beach.
And the crazier part is she literally lives right around the corner from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and we're
I mean,
both
what are
from
the odds
the
of
same area, had the same friend group.
Yeah.
And I mean, just had never really met each other before.
Right.
But yeah, she's super cool.
You guys meet each other for the first time. Was it out here? Was it out here? Or it was.
No, it was on Cape Cod.
It was in Cape Cod. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, first 2 times we're on Cape Cod.
That's right.
And in a big group. And the second time, the third time when we met here, it was just us two.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you just happen to live right around the corner. That's nice.
Yeah. Now we live
That
right
wasn't
around
even
the corner.
planned or anything either.
No. This was literally like the only place that was somewhat affordable.
Somewhat affordable.
In the area. Yeah, I mean, looking at all the rent stuff,
Yeah. No, I hear you.
You can get the same size place for a lot more anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it just happened to work out where I was just, whatever the cheapest place is on the market right now, I'm just gonna get. I wanted to move off the boat and stop living in hotel rooms and stuff when I wasn't working.
That's probably a good move.
Yeah, so that's how I ended up here.
That's nuts, man. So I mean, God, it kind of started to sound like, it was one of those things where it was meant to be,
Yeah, I mean, she's seeing someone now, so.
Yeah, right. So obviously it was.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't.
Well, not yet, at least.
Yeah, I mean, she's super cool. I'd definitely, explore that, pursue that a little bit more, given the chance.
Well, you guys spent Christmas together.
Yeah, we
this
did.
Year. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
How was that?
It was all right. It was fun.
What'd you guys do?
So the plan was I was gonna probably head over there around noontime or something like that, or in the morning.
Right.
And we were gonna hang out, and I think at her work they were doing like a potluck or something.
Oh, okay.
So I was gonna help her like cook and like make stuff for that, and just kind of hang out, and then we were gonna go to her friend's house in La Jolla.
Oh, nice.
A little apartment. When she first moved here, she lived in La Jolla. It's a little apartment complex. And then we were gonna go over there and hang out with her friends and stuff, and then she had to go to work.
She had to go to work on Christmas Day.
Yeah, and she had worked the night before.
Fuck.
So that kind of threw a wrench in the plans where she ended up not waking up till like, I don't know, 3:30, 4 o'clock, because she was working, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Oh my God.
She has to be there by like 6:30. She has to be on the floor working by 7 p.m. So obviously it takes her a while to get ready and get up, get moving, and then she gets home. She has the next nurse relieves her at 7. So as soon as that other nurse shows up, she can leave at 7. But then she still has to do whatever, clean up whatever medical stuff whatever nurses do.
Medical mess.
Yeah, whatever the paperwork. I don't know how it works. Paperwork, notes, whatever they do. So she doesn't end up getting home from the hospital. Kind of, I think it's 20 minutes from La Jolla.
Okay. Was
so
she
she's
at Kaiser or Scripps? Probably Scripps.
I don't know the name.
Okay.
She does stuff with like cancer patients.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But in a hospital.
Got it. So she's a nurse, works with cancer patients.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, so she doesn't get home till pretty late.
Yeah.
So yeah, she doesn't wake up till late in the afternoon. So she woke up late and then ended up just getting ready for work and getting some stuff done. And we ended up just I went over there. We hung out for, I don't know, half hour. And then we went to her friend's house.
All right.
Which her friends are super nice people, but I've never really had fun hanging out with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they all like know each other in that friend group. They're pretty closed in their friend group. They don't really like to expand. I mean, they're super nice to me and stuff. It's not like they're excluding me, but they're talking about people and stuff that I just never met, never interacted with. Just a lot of like inside stuff where you kind of have to know the person to understand what they're talking about and chime in the conversation. So it's more of me just kind of sitting there learning about people I've never met and just don't know where to chime in. You know?
Yeah, that's a little that's a little difficult.
Yeah. So it's tough just kind of break that ice. But like I said, they're super nice people. I don't have anything against them.
Do you still talk to her?
Yeah, I talked to her the other day.
Oh, okay.
I could talk to her on Friday.
She's seeing someone now.
Yeah, she is.
Still is.
Yeah.
Got it. How'd they meet?
I honestly don't know. I didn't ask too many questions.
I didn't ask.
I was like, it's probably better if I don't hear this. Like,
exactly.
You know, I thought I had a pretty good shot, but.
So what happened? Why do you think you?
I'm just gone too much. You know.
Yeah. Oh, well, you've been back for almost a month and a half.
Yeah. So funny thing is, when I got off the boat, I went over to her house for the Super Bowl, and that's when I had found out she had started seeing someone. And I guess it happened like pretty much when I left on that last stretch I went on. So when I got back from Big Bear with her.
What?
Yeah. So like right in that time period.
Quick.
Right in that time period where I was gone.
Because
I was gone for, I don't know, 2 months or whatever.
Well, but yeah, I guess you're right. Because Super Bowl's in February.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then we had gone up to Big Bear.
That's right.
Like a month and a half prior, 2 months prior.
Did you not talk to her for like? Can you not talk on the boat?
It's hard to.
Okay. So you didn't talk. You didn't communicate with her.
Yeah. A lot of times I just don't even look at my phone. Don't check my phone because it's just.
You're busy.
It's almost stressful trying to text someone and try and keep up with the conversation because you might try and send like 3 or 4 messages like the same person.
Yeah.
But only like 1 or 2 of them will go through and then they respond to that and then the conversation just doesn't make any sense.
Got it.
Because they're sending out random times.
Got it. That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be.
But shit. So you're gone for a couple months and then, yeah, I guess, I mean.
Yeah.
Especially around here, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, with anybody.
Yeah.
For me, like, hang out with people when I'm off the boat.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like, I just saw them, like, last week when in reality it was, like, 3 or 4 months ago when I was back here on land.
Right. I mean,
so to me, it seems like a lot shorter time. For them, it's like a lot longer.
Yeah.
Because, it's almost like my life pauses, but their life doesn't.
Keeps going. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, they move on. And it's a very common thing where I'll meet someone or some people and I come back and just everything's changed. Like so-and-so's not talking to each other anymore. These people don't hang out anymore. Or, they've met someone else or whatever. So it does change a lot.
Are you bummed about that whole situation?
Do
you think that something was there?
Yeah, I think something was definitely there. It was just kind of used to it. It's happened so many times in the past. Oh yeah, I can name off like 4 or 5 different instances in like the last 3 years where this happened.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah. I actually had it happen twice in 1 week.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah. Where like I was talking to these 2 girls, and I mean they were super cool or whatever. Like I was just kind of feeling it out.
Yeah.
Nothing serious going on, and then I just came back and like, oh yeah, I met someone. I was like, oh, okay. And then the same person, like within a couple of days, was like, I should tell you something. Like I'm actually seeing someone now.
Wait a minute. So before you start kind of dating these chicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, how do you guys leave it when you leave on your trip? Say you go away for a month or 2. Are you just kind of like up in the air? I mean, you guys talk about it? Like,
sometimes, yeah. A lot of times they kind of talk about it. Like we'll hang out for a little while, and then like I'll leave on one little stretch or whatever, and I mean, they think about it. It's like, oh yeah, that's nothing, no big deal, like whatever. And then I come back, and then they're like, yeah, that was a lot harder, a lot longer, like.
And then we weren't able to talk to you.
And they're like, I don't think I'll be able to have a relationship like that.
That makes sense.
Which I mean, I like it when they say that.
Yeah.
I mean, in comparison to the other option where they just cheat on me.
Right.
Which also happens a lot.
Yeah.
So I like when they're honest and upfront, and I don't hold any, grudges, hard feelings, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
And it's obviously it's in an early stage of relationship, doesn't really hurt too bad.
Right.
It sucks, but it's not like it's not gonna keep me up at night.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the past I've been in a relationship for like a year, and then find out that pretty much the entire time I've been gone, ever since like the start of the relationship, that they've been seeing someone else.
No.
Yeah. So I've had that happen. Those ones hurt more.
Yeah.
You're just like, wow, how blind can I be? How stupid could I be? Like, I should have picked up on that and that and that.
Yeah.
I should have called her out, seen what was going on. But,
well, I mean,
fuck, I wouldn't really want to date someone like me either. Someone that's gone all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough
Yeah.
one, man. I mean, even long distance relationships are hard.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And even then, you get to talk to him every day and things like that. But
right, for me, it's just like
you're out there.
I'm just straight up just gone, just non-existent.
It's like you went to jail.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I can text and stuff, but it's hard to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can take fucking days to get a message through sometimes.
At that point, it's not even really worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I mean, it sounds like you got something in the mix here for a job.
Oh yeah, with the upgrading my license.
Yeah.
And
talk about that.
Kind of getting into a new line of work.
Yeah.
Getting away from sport fishing, which I mean,
I
love.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you bummed about that, or are you?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, I've enjoyed it, and I've done it for a long time, and I like learning new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I learn new stuff every day at my job. You see all sorts of new stuff, new experiences, everything. But I also like new challenges.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten a lot of experience, so anytime I do learn something new, it comes to me a lot easier, and I don't really have to work towards it.
Okay.
Where starting a new line of work, where everything's new.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a lot more stressful trying to learn everything. It's all going to be new, and it's going to be just a huge learning curve, which, I mean, I enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes me feel like I'm actually working hard and, working towards something. Because there's a lot more stuff to learn going into, the tugboat industry.
Yeah.
Working on tugboats.
Yeah.
So that I think will be cool. And, I've done the ride along with another captain, another friend of mine.
Right.
I've operated the boat a little bit. And even just the whole, the way this boat handles the drive system, going from what's called a twin screw system to a Z drive system. The way you drive the boat and handle the boat is completely different. So, when I drive the boat I'm on now, I don't even have to think. It's just, I just do. It's just, memory, just from memory and feel
right.
I can do whatever I want without even thinking about it. While I was even just driving the tugboat just through the channel, I would see someone and, like, give me a couple seconds and then react, where I was actually thinking about how to move the boat.
Got it.
Because it's almost inverse to, like, the normal steering wheel.
Okay.
Where on the twin screw boat, to turn left, you turn the steering wheel left, and it comes over.
Got it.
Well, on the tugboat, you actually have the throttles and steering are integrated, and you steer each propeller.
Yeah.
Well, they're called drives. They move, like the actual propeller moves.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It's on like a shaft, like a tiller motor.
Yeah. Okay.
On like the back of a skiff.
Yeah.
The way it sticks down, like the lower unit.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but you can go 360 degrees.
What a trip, man.
So that's how that operates, and obviously it's a much bigger. So now you get two of those. So it's pretty much like having your hands over both of those motors.
Got it.
And being able to spin them 360 degrees.
Okay.
So if I were to want to turn left, you're only steering with one stick at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have one just going forward. Like we'll say my port one is in gear. I'm going forward, just throttle up, whatever.
Yep.
I'll leave that one centered. So it's just always going straight.
Got it.
In a turn, I would turn the motor or the the stick.
Yeah.
I would turn it to the right a little bit.
To go right?
To go left.
To go left.
To go left.
Uh-huh.
Because you got to think of it like a rudder. So the way I thought about it was which way I'm pushing my water, pushing my stern.
Got it.
So if I push the propeller to face left, to face port, it's pushing water this way.
Yep.
So it's going to move the stern that way.
Got it.
It's going to move the stern to the right, to your starboard, and it's going to push your bow to the port.
Got it.
So you move it to the right to push the bow to the left.
Got it.
And you're going to go forward that direction.
It's like a video game, man.
Yeah, it's pretty much like inverting what I do.
Right.
On these twin screw boats.
So it must have been a trip for you then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a whole
new experience. It was a little easier for me to kind of pick up on.
Yeah.
Because I've also ran jet operated boats.
Okay. Is that kind of the same concept?
kind of the older systems.
Okay.
And I did it when I was a kid, working on the ferry boats with my father.
Yeah.
The boat that we were on a lot of the time, the ferry boat, had the older system, jet drives on it.
Oh, okay. All right.
So this one was like a little tiller. You know, it was a ball and had a little stick that came out facing you.
Okay.
And it was the same concept. You swing it to the left.
Oh.
And the knob would point to the left, and then the boat would go left. So, you know, you'd think directionally where the tip of that knob is.
Yeah.
You would point it to the starboard like a steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you point it this way. You think since it's the arrow would essentially be facing to the starboard.
Right. Right.
You'd think the boat would be turning starboard.
Right.
But it's actually the opposite. You point it to the starboard, it would go where the back end of the stick goes. So it would go to the port.
Got it. Okay.
So I already had that kind of ingrained I hadn't used it in years, but it was always still in the back of my mind that that's how that system worked.
Got it.
So I just had to think back to when I would drive that boat.
Got it.
And so that was easier for me to pick up on. But as far as maneuvering the boat in like tighter situations, you know, obviously we're pushing up against the ship, and you know, you got to walk the boat drive to the left, forward, and just like ease into things like
it's got a
steering
lot of power
in reverse.
Those boats got a lot of power.
Oh yeah.
And they're deep. You were saying.
Yeah, they are. They have a giant skeg on the bottom.
It's crazy. Just
to create more drag for when you're slowing down. You know, you're broadside and you slow down the boat, and just for your own stability.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes the boat really stable. But yeah, the whole maneuvering with the Z drives is just different from everything.
Yeah.
But I was able to pull from the newer jet drive systems, from the older jet drive systems, and the twin screw systems on how to actually do things.
Got it.
So that did make it a little bit easier for me to where I kind of have a little baseline where I could do it.
So you weren't just starting fresh. You kind of knew a little bit.
Yeah, just to do like basic operations and maneuvers with a tugboat.
Yeah.
But you can do a lot more that I just have never even touched upon.
Okay, yeah.
So I do have a lot more to learn in that aspect and to become more fluent with it and smoother motions and stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's not like I can do one thing, then stop, think, do it.
Right.
And then stop and think and do it again, where I can just do it all in one solid,
fluid.
Fluid motion. And the guy who was teaching me is, you know, from multiple different sources, one of the hands down best tugboat operators that a lot of these guys had ever really seen.
And you're saying it was your dad's best friend?
Yeah, one of his best friends that he grew up with.
Yeah, oh wow.
Yeah, and I refer to him as my uncle and stuff. So obviously I've known him for years, and you know, he introduces me as his friend more than he does like my friend's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he introduced me as a crew. It's like, oh yeah, this longtime friend I've had, Forrest, is here to kind of see what this is all about, and you know, was thinking about getting into this industry. So yeah, once I upgrade my license, he wants to kind of get me in there more with him, and learn more on how to operate these tugboats and help me out with the job to move forward.
So, you know, you got to take a bunch of tests, and then you got to do hands-on stuff.
Yeah, yes and no. So I can. The best way to explain this is, so obviously the baseline for upgrading your license is having experience on boats.
In general.
Yeah, so pretty much the first license you can get is just having experience on any boat, like your little skiff or whatever, just driving it, understanding it. You have a certain amount of time where you've been on the water, on your boat, a friend's boat, whatever.
Right.
And you can get your what's called an OUPV, operator of an uninspected vessel license. So you can, you know, charge people money to come out as long as it's under 6 people or less.
So say if you bought a boat and you wanted to captain it.
Yeah, and run just little 6-man charters.
Okay.
So you start out with that, and then to go to the next one, a 100-ton license. You have to be on a boat of more than, I think it's either 15 or 20 tons.
Okay.
So a little bit bigger boat. Pretty much what you will be running if you do have an OUPV license. So you have to have a certain amount of time on a boat like that.
Yeah.
To get that license. And then now the boat that I'm on, for the next upgrade license for the 500 ton, which is what I'm doing, you have to be on a boat of more than 50 tons while holding a license, a valid 100-ton captain's license, and you have to have time in the wheelhouse, whether it's captain or, you know, second license.
Got it.
operating the boat at night, just watch standing stuff, as long as you're working in the wheelhouse.
How many hours is that?
You need 1,080 hours.
Oh, holy crap.
Or I'm sorry, 1,080 days.
Days.
Yeah.
Holy.
So 4 hours counts as 1 day, and if you go more than, I believe it's 8 hours, it counts as a day and a half.
Okay. So if you do 8 hours.
Yeah, or maybe it's 12. It's the way these forms are written is different, and the way I just got my breakdown from these employers kind of confused me a little bit.
Got it.
It might be if you work a 12-hour day, it counts as a day and a half. And so you can log 1 day as a day and a half, pretty much.
So it's not like like if you're driving a semi truck where you can have like 14 hours a day.
Right.
Can you go 24 hours if you want to?
No, you can't. You have to have a certain amount of rest.
Right. Okay.
So you can run a boat for, I believe it's 16 hours
16.
a day.
Okay.
And then you have to get a second license in, another captain. So the boat I'm on, we have, pretty much all of us have our captain's license.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. All of us except for 2 guys have captain's licenses.
No shit.
Yeah, so any one of us can run the boat besides those 2 guys.
Okay.
And we do.
Is that one of the requirements to be a part of your crew?
Yeah.
Got it.
To be licensed. And then you have to have what's called STCW training, which is like fire. It's made up of different safety elements. So you have to be first aid, CPR certified.
Okay.
And then there's this other medical class. I think they just call it medical something.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it. It's been a while since I've taken it.
Yeah.
And then you have to do firefighting.
Oh, really?
Yep, firefighting. So I actually went to the fire academy.
Did you really?
Yeah, for just a day.
That's cool, though.
And they run through, using fire extinguishers, going into burning buildings, putting stuff out with a hose, working on a team, putting on all your gear and stuff and equipment. And before that, you take a whole written test and you do, you study for stuff to understand kind of what you're doing, and then you go in and do like the actual practical stuff to make sure you're physically able to do it.
Okay, yeah. Why do they make you do that again? Oh, in case there's
a fire on the boat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because out there, you can't call the fire department. You got to be able to do everything yourself.
Right.
So yeah, that's firefighting, and then there's like survival stuff, like how to launch a life raft, the different parts of a life raft. What do you do if there's a hole in the life raft?
Yeah.
What's already contained in the life raft, for provisions, food wise, water wise.
Do you have a radio in there too? Or like a
yeah.
beacon,
I mean, there's a little beacon, and there's other parts to the boats, like there's something called an EPIRB, where it sends a satellite signal to either the Coast Guard or a plane flying overhead. Right. Most of the time, they get picked up by planes, and then the planes relay the signal back to the Coast Guard on where they picked up the signal.
Is that when you guys deploy the boat and it just automatically goes?
No, it's when the boat goes underwater.
Oh.
There's what's called a hydrostatic release.
Okay.
And it breaks open this little box and it shoots out to the top.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, if the boat's ever going down, that's the first thing I'm grabbing, because that'll relay your exact position to the Coast Guard or any boat nearby.
Got it. What a trip. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then there are other things called SARTs, which is pretty much the same thing, but it's picked up by radio, while the other one's picked up by satellite.
Huh.
Or, I'm sorry, not radio, picked up by radar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if the boat starts to sink, there's a box where once it hits that water or something,
once it hits a certain depth, like a certain amount of pressure.
No way.
It like pretty much sends out a little razor blade, and it cuts this little line.
No way.
And it shoots out.
Where is the boxes at?
Top of the boat, normally on the roof.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's no obstruction above it. It'll just float right out. Right to the surface.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What a trip, man.
Yep. Same thing with the life rafts too. Like if the boat goes down quick and you're not able to launch the life rafts, once they reach a certain depth, they will deploy on their own.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I always wondered how that worked.
Yeah, but that's for life rafts, not some of the lifeboats.
Okay.
Yeah, the actual boats themselves.
How do you check to see if those are in working order?
You replace them.
Oh, you have to replace them?
Yeah, you replace them every 2 years.
Really? They must be expensive.
They're not that expensive, actually. I mean, it depends where you get them from. Like the...
Don't want to go cheap on that one.
Yeah, no. You don't really want to... spare the expense, and you want to make sure that everything's up to date.
Yeah.
Like I do rounds and stuff. I check everything, all the expiration dates. I have it all written down for like my boat, and I go through the list and all the safety equipment and make sure everything's working, which is a good practice. That I feel like a lot of I know some of the other boats don't really do it.
Really?
They do it like once a year. Well, a couple times a year, but I try and make a point of it every trip.
Well,
on our travel days when we're not doing anything, I go around and check everything.
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
It's probably the most important thing. That's crazy, man. I had no idea that's what happened.
Yeah. There's a lot of different elements. They pretty much make it. I want to say like idiot proof.
Right.
Where if you don't know what you're doing, it'll do itself. But knowing it will make it a lot easier.
But there's food in.
Yeah, there's some. It's not very good food.
Right, just
it's all pretty much freeze dried, like MREs and stuff.
Yeah.
They come in like these little bricks.
Oh, really?
Pretty much, yeah. They're all like dehydrated, and they're pretty disgusting.
Oh,
Actually, funny story. One of my friends I used to work with, went to this maritime school called Northeast Maritime.
Okay.
And they were doing like one of those safety classes, and they had one of the life rafts deployed or whatever. They passed out all this safety equipment for them to look at, and then they were just on the floor talking. And the teacher's going through, giving the presentation, how everything works, whatever. And my buddy reached into the life raft and pulled out one of those little bars, and everyone's just sitting there like listening to class, and he's just sitting there. He opens up, he starts munching on all the provisions and stuff. And the teacher, I knew the teacher. The teacher turned around and looked and just saw him sitting there like casually eating all the food out of the life raft. Not that he was supposed to. Like,
right.
It wasn't a bad thing, but he wasn't supposed to. Like no one wants to willingly eat this stuff, and he's just sitting there eating it like it's nothing. And the teacher just started cracking up, and he called me later and told me, because he knew the guy worked with me. He told me the whole story. Yeah. They loved it. Yeah.
No, did you like the food?
I think so, yeah.
What is the food?
I don't even know
what
what
it like power bars and
yeah, it kind of just looks like protein bars.
No,
nothing like that. Nothing that luxurious.
Yeah. Something to keep you alive.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's eating the food.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I guess if you want to know what it tastes like.
Hey, he's getting ready to go down, dude.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be ready for it.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So what else goes into these tests? Let's go back to these tests that you have to do. It's
oh, yeah. And they do, like we go to a pool.
Yeah.
Some people actually do it in the ocean, but ours was in a pool.
Mm-hmm.
You pretty much have to tread water for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
They give you all these different, like, everyday items that you would wear, like, on a ship, like your boots, a hard hat, stuff like that, your pants.
Do you wear a hard hat out there?
No, we don't on our boats, but some boats you do have to wear a hard hat, or you might wear it in certain different scenarios, and they teach you pretty much how to use them to float.
Right.
So you don't have to tread water.
Got it.
So one of the things we had to do is take off your pants.
Uh-huh.
You got to tie the legs into knots, and you have the bottom, the open part where your waist goes. You flip it up in the air, and you catch a big thing of air, and you shove it back down in the water, and you close it off with your hands.
Okay.
And it creates, like, the legs will all fill up with air.
Yeah.
And you float on that.
Oh, that's cool.
Same thing with your boots. The boots are probably the best one.
Really?
Yeah. You flip them upside down.
Okay.
Obviously you've seen the boots that I wear for work. They're kind of tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, the extra toughs. You flip them upside down, and you put them under your shoulders, and it's all full of air, and you will literally float right up to here, chest level. Yeah, like by your rib cage, and it'll be sticking out of the water.
Really?
Yeah. Hard hats kind of sucked, but it gives you a little something.
Yeah.
You got a little pocket of air there to flip on, so you can kind of rest. You don't have to tread water. You swim. You put on the survival suits.
Yeah, I was gonna say, these survival suits. You see these guys out, crab fishing, and but are they? They're not wearing the suits, are they? Or sometimes
no, they're not. They're not wearing the suits while they work.
How do you put them on so fast? You're going down, and it's crazy out there.
You have to be able to put them on in under a minute.
Oh, okay. So
in the test,
They okay.
You pretty much, they hand you the bag, and the time starts.
Wow.
Yep. You just give it a good shake. It comes out. You unroll it. It's already unzipped. Stick your feet in. Stick your arms in. Zip it up. And it's on. And you put the little hood on and stuff.
It makes you float?
Yeah. Makes you more buoyant.
buoyant.
Yeah, it makes you float and it makes you stand out because they're bright orange.
So they can see you.
Yeah, some of them have little lights on them and stuff.
You guys don't have those, do you?
Yeah, we have a couple.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
A couple.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a requirement for us to have them.
Yeah. Who gets to wear one then? Out of the 10 guys that are
Good question. Whoever
whoever
the strongest is.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah, I've worked jobs where we've been required to have them on and stuff. Well, not on, but wearing, but on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, God, in a situation like that where you're freaking out and you're just like, oh, God.
Yeah, and that's why you have to be able to put them on so quick.
Right.
And they try and create like a high stress environment while you're doing it, so you get more real world practice in the situation. And you run through these drills and stuff on the boat, so when it actually does happen, you're level headed. Like there's been multiple instances where we've been in situations where it could turn bad. And
really?
Yeah, and I've just been straight faced calm, like whatever, just another day, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because you also
out on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you also want you don't want passengers or anyone else on the boat seeing you freak out. Because if they see you freak out, they're gonna start to freak out, and then it's just chaos, and then you're fucked.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being on an airplane. When you're going through turbulence, you're looking at the flight attendants, and if they're calm, it's okay. But if they're freaking out, we're going down.
Yeah. If you see them freak out, it really changes the atmosphere.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a trip, man.
Yeah, and all sorts of stuff. Launching life rafts, obviously, lifeboats we've done.
Yeah.
Training in the water.
Have you almost gone down with the boat?
No, I've never almost gone down on a boat. I've been in situations where it was a possibility.
Really?
Yeah, but we've stayed on top of it.
Oh shit! Like getting water in the boat.
Yeah. I mean, I've had little holes in the bottom of the boat.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and dove in the water. There's this stuff called splash zone, which is like JB Weld.
Yeah, JB Weld.
But it's a lot stronger, and it's made to kind of
plug it up for the time being.
Yeah. But splash zone is also meant to be applied in water, like submersed in water. So when you mix it up, it's two parts.
Yeah.
You got your splash zone, and then almost like a hardener, and it's putty.
You need it.
Yeah, it's like putty.
Activate it.
And you put it in a bucket of water.
Oh.
And you mix it up in water.
Oh shit! How do you do that? You're not going to do it really fast if you're.
No, you don't do it fast.
Yeah.
You do it like a system. You got one guy who's just mixing it up in water. Just taking little pinches of this, little pinch of that, mix it up in water into like a ball.
Yeah.
And then he gives it to another guy, and the guy starts laying it out, forming it over the hole. And you can apply it out of water, or you can apply it in water.
Got it.
And it doesn't really break apart that easy, and it stays on. So what we did was one guy went down, dove onto the boat, and started applying the stuff onto the water. It wasn't a very big hole, but obviously a hole in the bottom of the boat's not good, and it's gonna float anyways.
Yeah.
So you start applying it underneath, and then we had another guy on top doing it. But before you do that, actually, I forgot a part. You pretty much take rags or wedges or anything and just pretty much try and plug it up as much as possible.
Yeah.
Create like a surface, something for the splash zone to bond to. So it's not just floating in the air, because then, as the boat goes up and down and it pushes, it'll push a hole through itself.
Okay.
So you kind of try and put something under there for it to kind of push on to hold its form. So yeah, we were in one of those situations where we did that. Plugged the hole, obviously pumped out the water. It takes a little bit for it to harden. A couple hours of just...
Oh, it takes a couple hours to harden.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's literally just a couple hours of just constantly just, pushing it back into place, forming it, making sure it's going to stay plugged up. But then it hardens, and fuck, dude, it was hard to... Once that stuff set, dude, it was hard to even get it off when we hauled out of the water.
Really?
Yeah, you could have left... That stuff could still be there right now, and we wouldn't have a problem.
No way.
Yeah, it's that solid.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've been in other instances where there was this little skiff that this company I worked for owned, and they were trying to do little 4-man charters for more personal, like smaller families that just kind of want to go out and fish, do what they want.
Mm-hmm.
on a smaller boat, and that boat actually sunk at the dock once, where it got hung up on a piling. Whoever tied it up too tight, and as the tide changed, it got hung up and kind of flipped over just a little bit. So water started pouring in, and as the tide came up, it was weighted down on one side. So it was actually the lip of where the door was to go to the transom was open enough for water to keep pouring in. So it actually sunk at the dock one morning, and I got a call at like 3 o'clock in the morning that this boat was sunken on the bottom. So I just started pumping it out, and we ended up getting out of the water on a trailer, just a little skiff.
Okay.
And we sent it out. It was an insurance job. We sent it out to this marine place that does that kind of work.
Yeah.
And whoever worked on the boat did such a terrible job with it.
Really?
Yeah. Every aspect. I mean,
Yikes.
bilge pumps weren't working. Hatches on the transom were not sealed right with silicone. All the electrical on the electrical panel was just done so terribly. Where I remember on the way out on this day, and I'm going to go more into the story in a minute here. On the way out on this day, I was trying to adjust our trim tabs so we sit even. And there was a guy sitting behind me on this little bench.
Yeah.
And to the left of him is where the little freshwater hose comes out.
Yep.
And the hose wasn't connected. So I was adjusting the trim tabs, trying to fuck with them so that the boat would lay evenly as we cruised. And I hear the guy behind me goes, "Are you doing that on purpose?" I turn, I go, What are you talking about? What's going on? He goes, "You're squirting me with the hose." So as I'm trying to adjust the trim tabs, I turn around and look behind me, and I'm hitting this button. And every time I hit the button to put the trim tab up, it's squirting water out. So that button was turning on the freshwater hose. That's how bad they did the wiring.
Wow.
And I found out later while we were out there that the bilge pumps weren't working. I'd hit the switch, and immediately the breaker would pop. And so I kept having to hit the reset, and I would get like a little squirt of water out.
Oh, man.
And it's supposed to be automatic and manual.
Yeah.
So one of the bilge pumps worked on automatic, and one of them worked on manual only. So I was kind of limited there. And as we're sitting there fishing on anchor or anything, I kept hearing the bilge pump kick on. Like I could hear a little buzz when it kicks on.
Right.
I'm like, wow, it's kicking on a lot. And a friend of mine is next to me in a little bit bigger boat. I called him on the radio. "Hey, can you see over the side where the bilge pump's supposed to come out?" And he goes, "Yeah, I can see that." I go, "Okay, let me know how often it comes out and how much water is coming out," because I couldn't really look over and see what was going on too well.
Yeah.
And he called me 15 minutes later, and he goes, "Yeah, it's kicked on 5 times, and there's been a good amount of water coming out."
Really?
Yeah. And I was like,
no.
"Okay." I was like,
we gotta go.
The weather was getting a little rougher, so I'm like, "All right, guys, I'm calling it." Like,
we gotta go
for safety reasons. We're out of here. I don't know what the office is gonna do. Give you money back, whatever. You can talk to our office lead when we get back.
Yikes.
And I told them like they're very good about this kind of stuff, like making sure you're happy and accommodated. So I was like, pretty much ask for whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not my money.
Of course.
Yeah. So we head back to the dock. I dove the boat, looked for cracks, leaks. I opened up the hatches, looked inside, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And as I was closing the hatch, I kind of paid a little more attention to it. They never siliconed the outside seal of the hatch. Oh. So, the hatch, it's like a little screw-in hatch. Yeah. You screw it in, it has its own little gasket to where it sets in. I was looking at that, making sure that was good, that was fine, it was brand new. And then there's the outside plate that's, you're supposed to screw it in and I put silicone on it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, what are the odds this is the problem? I took out all the screws and it came right out with no silicone on there. Oh my gosh. On both of them. Jesus. So the entire time we were out there fishing, water was just pouring into the transom.
Jesus.
And just filling the whole back of the boat. And the bilge pumps weren't working.
That could have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Oh, so, it's funny. People are supposed to be fixing this stuff. I mean, these are lives.
Yeah, and this is a pretty reputable place.
So they just... What happened?
Whoever did it, whoever was working on it, just didn't know what they were doing, and there was no, quality control. Whoever was, training the guy or whatever, wasn't on top of it, making sure he was doing it right. It could have just been some guy they just hired, and he could have lied on his resume or whatever. But no one checked to make sure he did it right. And I ended up sending a video to the owner of the place because I over the years became kind of friendly with this guy.
Yeah.
I am sending a video of me pressing the trim tab button and watching it squirt out the freshwater. He was so embarrassed. He felt so bad, and they ended up taking the boat back, redoing all the wiring and everything. I told him about that, and he was very embarrassed. But it was an insurance job. We didn't get charged for the second part of it, but I'm sure they still charged the insurance. I don't know what went on payment wise.
Yeah.
My boss took over after that.
Wow.
But yeah.
That's pretty bad, man. That's like a huge insurance claim.
That could have gone bad, and I can think of a couple of guys who could have ran that boat, and that had ran that boat in the past. And if it was them on there,
it would have been a whole different story.
It could have been a whole different story. Whether they caught it or not, whether they would have been fine because the automatic bilge pump was working at the time.
Yeah.
Later on, it stopped working.
Yep.
Yeah, that could have gone many different ways.
Could have been bad.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. You know.
Yeah.
That's not something you want to mess with.
No, that's definitely not a situation you want to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the two of the sinking situations I have been in, where it could have gone bad. It never got to a point where it was bad because it was caught early on.
Right. It could have been ugly.
But yeah, if you weren't so vigilant
yeah.
and kind of paying attention, it could have gone very badly. It could have been a whole different story, a whole different outcome.
Right.
Yeah.
God.
The one on the skiff wouldn't have been too bad because I'm fishing a fleet of boats. There's 100 people around, and they're all paying attention.
Yeah.
And even if I wasn't paying attention, I'm fairly confident I would have gotten a call from someone else there. One of my buddies fishing around me saying, "Hey, your water line's getting higher and higher in the water.
Yeah.
Like something's going on. You got to check that out." But this situation where we got the hole in the bottom of the boat, we were the only boat around for hundreds of miles.
Dude.
Yeah. So that could have been a whole different situation.
You could have been using that life raft.
Yeah. On the way back up, we went straight in towards land, and hugged the beach the whole way up the coast.
Did you?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Just in case, the thought process was if it does get bad, if that splash zone breaks, and we didn't have any more. If it got to that point, we were just gonna put the boat on the beach.
Yeah. Run it aground.
Yeah. This way we'll be on land and
not in the middle of the ocean.
Stuck in the water. Yeah.
Sink the boat. That would
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah. Yeah. At least we'll have, not only be able to recover the boat, but
right.
The chances of injury would be a lot less.
Yeah. That's the main thing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. God. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, there's people out there that have way gnarlier stories than me. Like we've talked about, a friend of mine.
You're only 21, 22 years old.
Yeah.
You got a long time to go.
Yeah,
buddy.
I'm sure.
You'll have some bad ones.
I'm sure at some point, it's destined to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got some friends that got way worse stories. Like I've told you, a friend of mine who was purse-seining has been in 3 helicopter crashes.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, out in the middle of the ocean.
Let's talk about
and,
this.
Yeah, I think the back, I think it's the rotor blade, the one on the back on the tail.
Yeah.
That either broke, it stopped spinning, or shot off or something like that.
Yeah.
And they lost control of the helicopter, and the helicopter went down in the middle of the ocean. And they were flying around looking for tuna on the surface.
Oh my God.
So that went down. The pilot ended up dying, but my buddy did not. He ended up surviving the crash.
Yeah.
So he grabbed the body of the pilot and was floating in the water, and he was trying to save the body so that the family could have something to bury.
Yeah.
Have a place to remember his body just wasn't lost at sea.
Right.
So he was floating with the body in the water, and he was in the water for 3 days total. About a day and a half later, he said the body just got so mangled and tore apart by sharks that there just wasn't much left. He was concerned. He said at that point he didn't care about his life. He was more worried about saving this body. Like he didn't mind the sharks coming up, whatever. He was hitting them, in the nose and the eye, whatever, to get him away,
so
kicking them.
Crazy,
He felt them come by his feet, and he would kick them. And the body. He said the body got so mangled by the second day and a half, and he ended up letting the body go, and then just floating by himself, and ended up getting picked up by the boat. I think right before the third night.
Oh my God. gosh, dude.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
psychologically, that's to have all that happen.
Yeah.
And then go 3 nights out in the middle of the ocean by yourself.
And he's still doing it. I feel like a lot of people would have quit after that.
I gotta meet this guy. But I got so many questions.
Yeah, this guy is the worst luck with aviation.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 helicopter crashes on his last trip recently. On his last trip down to Mexico to meet the boat, his plane landed with no brakes, and they ended up going off the runway.
I don't want to be in an airplane with this guy.
Yeah.
But I want to ask him questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
We got to have him on here.
Yeah, dude, he's got some crazy stories.
Yeah.
I mean, he's told me a lot of insane psychically or mentally.
Yeah.
Like, stories that would just absolutely
make anybody just lose their mind.
Yeah.
Dude, that is nuts.
But that's a guy who's been doing it. He's in his 60s now, and he grew up on these boats. His dad used to own purse seiners up here in California.
Oh, okay.
So he grew up on these boats. He's been doing it fucking crazy amount of years.
It.
Yeah, like over 50 years,
that's
probably close to 60 years. His whole life,
That's wild.
And with those seiners, like, you think I'm gone for a while? He's gone way more than me. Like, it doesn't even compare. He's been on boats for years without being on land, pretty much.
How many times has he been married?
A couple. This last time he came home, like when COVID hit and he finally got off the boat, he came home and he found his wife in bed with 2 other dudes.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Party on.
Yeah. He wasn't too happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably,
but
probably
that's
didn't throw a party on that one, huh?
No. He was pretty beat up. I remember talking to him about
that's
it.
A bummer, man.
He was pretty beat up. But that's a common thing. You'll hear that story from many people in this line of work.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
But hey, you do it because you love it, right?
Exactly.
And that's what's
important.
The
thing. You gotta keep going.
Women come and go.
Yeah.
The good ones stick around. The bad ones, well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We definitely have to have some more stories from this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to talk to him. He's down in Mexico now, and I don't think he's going to be back for quite a while. But
well, when he does come back, we gotta.
He probably doesn't know what any of this stuff. He probably doesn't even know what one of these microphones looks like. He's been out there for so long.
Yeah, right. He goes, technology. What is this? What is this stuff?
Yeah.
I just got a phone.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, watching him like texting, like he texts in this group chat I have with him with a bunch of other captains and stuff. We talk about fishing reports, where we're going, what we see and stuff.
Yeah.
And some of the messages he sends are just. The spelling and like hitting the wrong buttons and stuff. Right. He's not very up with the times. And I've watched him, like when he was working with me. I've watched him try and use his phone, and he gets all frustrated and mad and stuff, trying to learn how to send a picture or something.
Right.
Yeah.
He's all, I'm glad I'm out to sea for so long. I don't have to deal with this crap.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Good for him. That's funny, man. Well, we'll have to have him on, and I'm sure we'll have some really good stories.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, I feel like this is a good place to kind of end this off.
Yeah.
We'll go more in depth about it, but we covered quite a few little stories here.
It was great.
Yeah.
I hope everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah. We'll have more to come soon.
We'll sign off.
We'll figure out this whole intro and ending thing.
Yeah, for sure.
At some point, I'm sure. But
we'll get better at this, guys.
Yeah. All right.
All right.